at Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's efforts to block the Mueller bill. Earlier, I sat down with Senator Grassley to discuss that bill and many other critical issues facing the Senate. Take a look. All right, Senator Grassley, thanks so much for being with us tonight. And I want to start by asking what you think of the fact that several conservative congressmen have asked for Jeff Sessions to investigate Hillary, Comey, McCabe, Lynch. Here we are almost a year and a half into the Trump administration, and they're still asking Sessions to do what they've been asking him to do for almost a year.
I wouldn't be surprised, but some of that might be happening and we don't know about it because of the tradition within the Justice Department and the FBI not to talk about ongoing investigations. You hear rumors about some things that are being done that aren't talked about very regularly. And I would just suggest that anybody that's involved in enforcing the law, and everybody in the Justice Department ought to be involved in that, you follow the facts where they take you.
When we hope that they do that, but with all due respect, the American public has lost confidence in the FBI. And you and I both know that, you know, the FBI leaks like a sieve, even at the top, starting with Jim Comey, leaking information that some say is classified so that it would get to the New York Times. So how can we be confident in this Department of Justice, in this FBI?
First of all, I think you could have confidence in the people that aren't running the FBI, that they're doing their job. And I think that we all have a responsibility, including those in the FBI and those in the Justice Department, to do what we can to reestablish the integrity of the FBI that's been warped a little bit by some of the things that McCabe and Comey have been involved in, not just in this administration, but in previous administration.
The American people are frustrated. My viewers are frustrated. Let's talk about the fact that I believe you asked a direct question to Jim Comey in May of 2017. You said, Director Comey, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation? Comey replied, never. Then you say, question 2, have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about Trump or Clinton investigation? Comey again said no. You had a reason for asking those questions. That would be a predicate for perjury, and you know it. The problem is that we now have an attorney general who has recused himself, and you are continuing to push a bill to protect Mueller. All right? First question, do you believe Comey lied to you?
I think that there's plenty of evidence there that that ought to be carried further, because whether he was under oath, but even if he wasn't under oath, it's against the law to lie to Congress.
Okay, it's against the law to lie to Congress, against the law to lie to the FBI. You have confidence in Jeff Sessions?
Yes, I do.
All right, you have so much confidence that you're pushing this bill to prohibit the president from firing Mueller, although the president for the past 4 months has not said he's firing Mueller. Why do you continue to push this bill?
I push this bill because I made a commitment to my colleagues when they introduced 3 different bills. I said, I'm not going to deal with 3 different bills. There's some question about the constitutionality of it. I said, if you get together, I'll bring it up. Now, I don't think Mueller's going to be fired. I'm not sure that there's a need for legislation, but when I make a commitment to my colleagues that if you can get a bipartisan agreement, I'm chairman of the committee, I feel like I have a responsibility to keep my word to my colleagues.
The Senator, you are an extremely important individual. You are one of the lions of the Senate. You have been in Congress since 1974. You get this, all right? The Senate has passed virtually no bills last year. The House passed over 400 bills. What are you guys doing dilly-dallying about whether Mueller should be fired? You yourself have said that there doesn't appear to be any evidence of collusion. Why are we wasting taxpayer money?
Well, instead of answering your question, you brought up a very important issue. The Senate isn't getting much legislating done because we face a Democrat filibuster on every non-controversial and even controversial nominees, but most of these nominees are non-controversial.
Almost 50 years. What would you change if you could?
You ask a very difficult question. I think that what I would like to do is have the people that police our system, the media, if they would be more fair in their reporting and not be so liberally oriented, it would go a long ways towards reestablishing people's confidence in our government. That's what I would change. Now, you aren't going to do that by law. That's within the discipline of journalism, but they have a lot to do with whether or not people, whether or not government's doing its business, whether people have confidence in the government, because they're always reporting on controversy, never reporting on things where people get along.
What can the American people do when we see these injustices?
We've got a president that has come to town to drain the swamp. It's pretty hard to drain the swamp when you have three branches of government, but I'm convinced this president's doing everything he can to drain the swamp because he's questioning the culture of this town.
You question the culture of this town?
Every day. That's what oversight's all about. That's what saying, for instance, if something's wrong and you expose it, and the people that did the wrongdoing, if they don't get fired, if heads don't roll, nothing's going to change in Washington.